We've previously covered 20 fascinating facts about Brokeback Mountain. Be sure to check out that video if you haven't already. Now we're here to discuss 15 more things you may have missed. Ever wondered how a short story about two ranch hands became a cultural phenomenon? Let's dive in. Number 1. The New Yorker short story that started it all. Before Brokeback Mountain became a feature film, it existed as a short story by Annie Proulx, published in The New Yorker in 1997. Unlike sprawling novels, this piece was only about 10,000 words, yet it captured a profound, forbidden romance between two male ranch hands in 1960s Wyoming. The story's emotional depth and vivid setting caught the attention of screenwriters and producers, who saw the potential for a groundbreaking film. Despite the brevity of the source material, the filmmakers managed to retain much of its raw, heartbreaking intensity. Number 2. A lengthy path to production. Even after the short story gained traction, turning it into a movie wasn't straightforward. Hollywood studios were initially hesitant to finance a film centered on a same-sex love story, fearing it might alienate mainstream audiences. Producers James Schamus and Diana Ossana, however, were convinced of its cinematic potential and spent years navigating funding obstacles. It took about 7 years from the time the screenplay was in development until cameras finally started rolling. Their perseverance proved instrumental in bringing a once-overlooked narrative into the limelight. Number 3. From Wyoming to Alberta. While the plot is firmly rooted in the rugged landscape of Wyoming, most of the movie's breathtaking exterior shots were captured in Alberta, Canada. Director Ang Lee chose specific areas in the Canadian Rockies to convey the sense of isolation and grandeur that the characters experience. These natural settings, marked by rolling hills, alpine forests, and mountain peaks, bolstered the film's themes of both freedom and confinement. The environment became an unspoken character in its own right, reflecting the beauty and turmoil at the story's core. Number 4. Low budget, high impact. With a production budget hovering around $14 million, Brokeback Mountain was considered a relatively modest venture by early 2000s Hollywood standards. Nevertheless, the film ended up grossing over $178 million worldwide. This commercial success not only exceeded the studio's expectations, but also signaled that audiences were ready to embrace more diverse, emotionally resonant narratives. The financial triumph laid the groundwork for future projects that took creative risks and challenged convention, proving that seemingly niche stories could find broad global appeal. Number 5. Critical acclaim and Oscar buzz.
Heath, Ang, and I were at the center of a storm that year, fielding the praise and controversy that came from telling a love story about two men.
From the moment Brokeback Mountain premiered at festivals, critics and audiences alike sensed it was an Oscar contender. The Academy Awards ultimately recognized the film with 8 nominations in 2006, including Best Picture. While it didn't clinch that specific honor, losing to Crash, it did secure 3 wins: Best Director for Ang Lee, Best Adapted Screenplay for Larry McMurtry and Diana Ossana, and Best Original Score for Gustavo Santaolalla.
And the Oscar goes to Gustavo Santaolalla for Brokeback Mountain.
Even so, many still regard its Best Picture loss as one of the biggest upsets in recent Oscar history. Number 6. The controversial Best Picture snub.
Has entertained the audience, and the nominees are... For Brokeback Mountain, Ang Lee.
Few cinematic events have spurred as much debate as Brokeback Mountain's defeat at the 2006 Oscars. Many critics believed it was the obvious frontrunner, given its sweeping critical praise and cultural impact. The outcry following the announcement highlighted the ongoing tension between traditional Hollywood conservatism and groundbreaking storytelling. Some argued that awarding Crash was a safe choice, while Brokeback Mountain pushed boundaries. To this day, Fans and film historians revisit the controversy, underscoring the film's enduring significance in cinematic discourse. Number 7. The line that echoed everywhere. One of the movie's most quoted pieces of dialogue,
"I wish I knew how to quit you."
"I wish I knew how to quit you," has remained in the public consciousness since the film's release. Jack Twist, Jake Gyllenhaal, delivers these words as a direct expression of the tragic, inescapable bond he shares with Ennis Del Mar, Heath Ledger. It encapsulates the film's emotional crescendo, an impossible love that both binds and torments them. This line has been referenced and parodied countless times, cementing Brokeback Mountain's status as a cultural touchstone. Number 8. Casting close calls. It's hard to imagine anyone other than Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal portraying Ennis and Jack, but early in the film's development, other high-profile actors were considered. Ultimately, Ledger and Gyllenhaal's on-screen chemistry anchored the movie's emotional center, lending an authenticity to the love story that resonated far beyond its core demographic. Their subtle gestures, meaningful glances, and genuine camaraderie offered a believable intimacy that carried the film's themes of secrecy, longing, and regret with unforgettable poignancy. Click the join button below to unlock exclusive perks. You'll get early video releases, connect with fellow film enthusiasts, and discover more hidden gems in LGBTQ+ cinema. Your support truly matters. It allows us to keep delivering content that explores the deeper layers of the films you love. Number 9. The Cowboy Crash Course. To convincingly portray rugged ranch hands, Ledger and Gyllenhaal underwent extensive cowboy training, learning how to rope, ride horses, and even herd sheep. This preparation went beyond rehearsing scenes. Both actors immersed themselves in the daily routines and gritty realities of rural life. By investing time and effort in gaining practical ranching skills, they were able to infuse their performances with a level of detail and nuance that made the entire film feel strikingly authentic. Their dedication ensured that every lasso and saddle adjustment looked second nature. Number 10. Ang Lee's deliberate direction. Ang Lee's directing approach was marked by restraint, emphasizing quiet moments and naturalistic lighting to capture the film's mood. He avoided overly dramatic flourishes, instead letting the camera linger on nuanced facial expressions and unspoken tension. This subtle style underscored the emotional undercurrents between Ennis and Jack, where entire feelings were often conveyed through body language rather than words. Lee's choice to film predominantly with natural light also highlighted the stark beauty of the mountains, creating an aesthetic that was simultaneously tender and unflinching. Number 11. Annie Proulx's love-hate relationship with fan responses. Author Annie Proulx initially praised the film's loyalty to her short story. However, she later expressed frustration with the numerous fan letters that bombarded her with unsolicited alternate endings and suggestions. This unanticipated level of public engagement, while a testament to the story's resonance, became a double-edged sword. Despite her mixed feelings, Proulx ultimately commended Ledger and Gyllenhaal for their heartfelt performances, acknowledging that the actors had managed to portray her characters with a realism that mirrored the original intent of her writing. Number 12. Heath Ledger's Quiet Storm. Heath Ledger's portrayal of Ennis Del Mar stands as one of the most lauded performances of his career. He channeled Ennis's internal conflict through minimal dialogue, hunching shoulders, and guarded facial expressions. Ledger's performance resonated so deeply because it wasn't loud or overtly demonstrative. Instead, it revealed the character's struggle in small, poignant gestures. This quiet approach underscored the film's recurring theme. Love and pain often manifest in the moments we can't fully articulate, a reality Ennis experiences throughout his life. Number 13. Anne Hathaway's departure from type. Long associated with lighter, family-friendly fare like The Princess Diaries, Anne Hathaway's performance as Lurene Newsome was a stark departure from her established image. To inhabit the role of a competitive rodeo queen, Hathaway adopted a more polished yet emotionally layered persona, complete with a believable regional accent. Audiences witnessed a side of Hathaway they hadn't seen before: ambitious, strategic, and progressively distanced from Jack's secret life. The film effectively showcased her dramatic range and set the stage for more serious roles in her future career. Number 14. Michelle Williams' immersive tactics. Michelle Williams played Alma, Ennis Del Mar's wife, who quietly endures the unraveling of her marriage. Williams chose to live near the filming locations in Canada, immersing herself in the rural atmosphere. This approach enabled her to observe firsthand how small-town families interacted, a detail that contributed to her nuanced portrayal of betrayal and heartbreak. Her performance, featuring raw vulnerability and simmering resentment, added a crucial layer of empathy to a film already laden with emotional complexity. By delving into Alma's perspective, Williams enriched the audience's understanding of Ennis's choices and their consequences. Number 15. An LGBTQ+ milestone. Despite controversies and initial studio apprehensions, Brokeback Mountain emerged as a vital milestone in LGBTQ+ cinema. The film's critical and commercial success challenged the notion that mainstream viewers wouldn't connect with a same-sex love story. It demonstrated that stories of love and identity could resonate universally, regardless of gender or orientation, paving the way for more inclusive narratives to emerge in subsequent years. Today, Brokeback Mountain stands as a testament to how a single, thoughtfully crafted film can reshape conversations and inspire new generations of filmmakers and audiences to explore previously marginalized themes. Which of these 15 insights changed the way you view Brokeback Mountain? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more revealing looks at the movies you love.